Well, hey, Matt, and welcome to the podcast.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good.
This is great.
Yeah, this is the studio we've been working so hard to build, right?
I'm stoked for this space.
And thanks for your help on the space.
Oh, for sure.
Julie took point, but you and Jeremy too. So thank you. This is awesome.
I'm super excited about this.
Yeah. Well, as a reminder, we're doing this podcast to get to know staff members a little bit. And so we're gonna cover some of the basics, and we'll get to know you, and so those people out there get to know you a little bit. All right, so let's start with your name. What's your job at Zumbro, and how long have you worked here? Let's start with those basics.
Yeah, so my name's Matt Gender. I am the Director of Worship Arts at Zumbro, and this month will be 2 years. It's my 2-year work for Sari this month.
This month?
Yeah, October. Yeah, I started in October.
That's pretty awesome. I guess I didn't even click for me. That has been 2 years. That's awesome.
2 years. Yep.
It's gone fast. It's been good. It's gone a
it
good
really
fast.
Has. And we've had so much stuff going on. That's why it seems like it's gone fast.
You enjoying it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Good.
I can't think of really anywhere else to be.
Yeah. Well, I think it's for those that aren't in person at Zumbro. I mean, it's a rare Sunday where there isn't some kind of ovation for you on the post loop, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, your skills and talents are loved here.
I love you guys too.
How did you get into this kind of work, and what's the education behind it?
So I started studying organ because I had been interested in it for basically my entire childhood. And really the only outlet for creative organ playing these days is doing it in a church. So I started working fairly earnestly in church work when I was in grad school. Okay. So I took up a church job when I was in grad school.
So, but when did you start playing keys, like pianos?
So I started on organ. I didn't have any piano background at all. I started on organ as a junior in high school. I was 15.
Catch that for a second, right? Most people are starting to play the ivories, right? At a young age, starting in kindergarten, first, second, third grade, early childhood, and that getting it into your fingers and all that. You started as a junior. When most people stop playing football,
right? Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, I had a little bit of piano earlier than that, but it never really clicked because my teacher wanted me to learn how to play notes on a page, and I had no idea what any of that was.
Oh, okay.
I could sit down and hear something that I had heard on TV or the radio and just sit and play it. So, okay, why bother learning notes? And then it fizzled out, and then I kind of told my mom one day, I still remember this clear as day, I was like, Mom, I want to study the organ. And she's like, okay. Supported me 100% the entire way through. I was 15. I literally laid hand to keys at about age 15, 2007, 2006.
Wow.
And we found our teacher, found my first teacher, and he got me up to a point where I could audition for a school of music.
Right.
Got into 5 different organ programs, and then eventually...
What were they? I mean, just out of curiosity, unless you don't want to share.
Yeah, no, I auditioned at University of Florida, Florida State, Stetson University, in Boone.
I'm not going to know.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so there's a fourth. And what's another one? You said 5. Maybe that was 5.
East Carolina University.
Okay, and you grew up in Florida.
Right.
Okay, so those are all relatively regional.
Southeast,
Southeast, yeah. Oh, cool. And so what degrees then do you currently hold?
So I finished the bachelor's degree summa cum laude from Florida in organ performance. Mm-hmm. Then I went to the University of Kansas, did the master's degree in organ performance, and then stayed for the Doctor of Musical Arts in organ.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's all organ.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And of course, how you got into it is because that's where churches are where you play organ. I mean, that's it nowadays.
Yep, pretty much.
What do you love most about your job here at Zumbro? Let's start there. What do you love most about it? And it might be the organ playing, but what here do you just love the most?
The organ playing certainly is, been very inspiring. To have an instrument of the caliber that we have here really has helped me work back into all my old concert rep, and it's inspired me to do things like silent movies and play concerts. It's really been great. But I think the best part about working here is just being surrounded by creative staff people that allow me to do all of my weird video experiments and allow me to kind of be unhinged creatively. And I think that's been the best part, because that's been one of the most stifled areas of my interest in church work, is just kind of having the room to be creative in that domain. So being here, being able to do that, and having also a congregation that's supportive of that.
Right. And that's certainly true here. I mean, as you're saying,
I know.
For people who might watch this who aren't part of our kind of physical or geographically specific congregation, this is a congregation that is incredibly appreciative of the arts. I think they would say that about themselves.
Yep.
And as a byproduct, and this isn't always true when you're appreciative of the arts, I do think in addition to that, which they may not have even articulated before, maybe they have, but it certainly didn't come up in my interview, but I would say they are also are very appreciative of creativity. That's
for sure.
That's a difference of the appreciation of the arts,
absolutely.
right? It's one thing to say you play Bach well. It's another thing to do something different and maybe off the wall, or I mean, because you're into. Why don't you talk about the music? You did a workshop of the electro.
Yeah. So in addition to playing organ, I've been hugely into like experimental music, electroacoustic, musique concrète. Since my undergrad, I was first exposed to it as an undergrad student, and I was instantly hooked. I was like, oh my gosh, where has this been? And I talked about it. I did a conference recently with another group of like-minded composers, and I talked about, why were you hooked instantly? And I think it was the main reason I told them was because it was so different from anything I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
It was this fringe kind of compositional style that really, you'd have to be hard-pressed to think of another person that's been working in that field.
Right, because it's not particularly marketable. It's not like there's a commercial aspect to it. It's really about creativity.
Precisely. Yep, and you're exactly right. And so that's kind of what attracted me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I ever, how do I get into this more?
Yeah, yeah. And this is just to name it again for the people listening, right? There isn't much room in church world for that, I would say. I think that's fair to say, not as a critique, but there's not a lot of room.
Yeah, it's not a thing that
but here
meshes.
at Zumbro, that's part of the creative outlet you're not just allowed to have, but encouraged.
Right.
I think that's fair to say.
Right. I mean, we did an electroacoustic concert here and packed the sanctuary.
It was awesome.
It was so much fun.
Yeah. It was cool.
It's really
What
refreshing.
What then do you find most challenging about Zumbro, like specifically, or maybe you want to broaden it to church work, but there certainly are things that you love about your job here, but there's also, for all of us, things that are challenging. What would you consider challenging?
Totally. I always tell people that being an organist in a church as like a music director is 10% about how you play the organ and 90% about how you work with people. Mm-hmm. People, being largely your instrument as a music director, you have to be really good at working with people. And so I think the biggest challenge is just kind of wrangling all the volunteers together, making sure they know their stuff, getting them prepared for their singing adventures on a Sunday morning, just making sure all the pieces are in place. I think that's the biggest challenge, and that's 90% of the job is just wrangling volunteers.
Right. That's why Zumbro, which we'll hear from Jeanette in one of these as well, who also deals with wrangling the people for just worship. Like, not to mention what Pastor Anna has to do, or Tim. I mean, everybody has to deal with wrangling people, and that's always a trick. Yeah, we're very cool. Well, Matt, it's a broad word. So, do you have people that you consider family? Like, who do you do holiday with? What does your family look like? Whatever family is for you.
Yeah, so I've got my little kind of family group. My mom, my dad, and my younger brother. They all live in the Southeast. We've all been kind of like a closely knit group because all of us are originally from the Northeast. I mean, my dad's from Ohio and my mom's from Pennsylvania. Okay. All of their extended family are still in that area. So we moved down to Florida, and we've been kind of tightly knit, just because we were so far removed from everybody. But yeah, my core family kind of group is my mom, my dad, both live in Winter Springs, Florida, which is north of Orlando. And then my brother lives just south of Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've got extended family still in Pennsylvania and Ohio and kind of all over the place.
You kind of had, just because in my world, for me, family is also a broad term. You kind of there was kind of family that moved here with you, right?
Oh yeah. I've got a
Right?
very, very close friends of mine, the Meyer family. I met them in Mason City through Maria, a very, very close friend of mine. They actually moved from Waverly and Mason City to be here.
Yeah,
To be
and
in
great.
Rochester.
I mean, and clearly, it's a form of family for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
just the way you guys
Very,
are.
very close friends. They're very supportive of everything I do. They've supported like the starving artist kind of
Yeah.
Matt a little bit, and they're really, really great volunteers. They really help my ministry and also like Zumbro at large.
Yeah, they're certainly a huge asset. They have jumped in immediately
For
when
sure.
you got here.
Yeah.
Just great people.
Absolutely.
So, you what's interesting, Matt? You have, I think, just so everyone knows, I always ask, okay, what else what else might you want to talk about in this conversation? And Matt's phrase to me was planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
So let's talk about planes first.
Yeah,
Tell
sure.
me. I think you're a pilot, right?
Yeah. So my dad, before he became a pilot, was a train engineer. Worked for 25 years on the railroad, and then moved down to Florida to become a professional pilot. And I've kind of the interest has steadily grown since then. It started basically at nothing. I was interested in making music, so I studied most of that time making music. And then once I figured out that I could do it, I was like, okay, I'm starting to get interested in how planes work. How does one become a pilot? So I started the journey and just am trying to figure out if I can actually do it.
That's awesome.
So I finished the private pilot's license about a year ago. I'm working on some more advanced ratings now.
What does that mean, advanced ratings? I mean, I'm really pretty ignorant of how that works. So you're actually a pilot. So you can jump in a plane now. You can rent a plane and fly to Las Vegas if you want.
Yes. Legally I can fly a plane. I can only fly it in fair weather, so no clouds. And
That's a little tricky.
it is.
Okay.
You have to be very careful about how you're planning, but these the advanced ratings that I'm going for will allow me to do things like fly into the clouds, fly cross country, and then eventually be able to fly like large airplanes, multi-engine airplanes, that kind of thing.
That's pretty cool.
So quite expensive, and it's taking forever
Mm-hmm.
because I'm paying for it myself. But it's been so much fun,
Cool.
so rewarding.
Cool. Do you think I'd feel safe if I flew with you?
I think so.
You think so?
I've had,
You don't know how scared I am sometimes. Like, I'm not as brave as I want to be.
let's say, the number of takeoffs and the number of landings that I've walked away from are equal to each other at the moment. So that's always a good statistic.
You have these phrases. What did you say about life earlier when you came in the door right before we started recording? You said,
I've beat my record for most consecutive days lived.
you say these things all the time. Julie and I both roll our eyes at this whole thing.
I've had 86 landings that I've walked away from. So that's
86 takeoffs.
Right.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
if you had
One of
87
them-
takeoffs and 86
and
landings, then I'd ask you
There's
about the
an
parachute.
old pilot adage that says one of them is optional, the other is necessary, and that we ain't left one up there yet. So there we go.
Now I'm not going to become a pilot after that. I jump on a plane in a few days. That's not comforting.
This is not comforting.
Okay, so the plane's trains is your dad then?
Yeah, actually, but I come from a whole family of railroaders. My mother worked on the railroad, and so did my dad. And my brother actually was another railroader. He worked for Norfolk Southern, and both my parents worked for Conrail. My dad worked for the Penn Central Railroad up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, very cool. All right, planes, trains, and automobiles. What are we missing? Bus driving.
Yes. Yeah. So
This guy, okay, he's a pilot. He's an organist. He's a composer with electroacoustic music. And, oh, by the way, he has driven public bus.
Yep, city bus. Yeah, I did. And I always tell my undergrad organ teacher knew me, season 1, Matt. Okay, she knew me as, a burgeoning adult. And I didn't have a driver's license until I was 22. I got my driver's license at 22.
Whoa, time out. Can we pause there for a second? Why?
I mean,
Why?
first of all, driving terrified me.
Okay.
I was very scared of it. But at Florida, I lived on campus, so I basically either walked or biked.
So you didn't need to, and
sort of, kind of, yeah. Okay. So I didn't get my driver's license until I was 22, and then fast forward a year and a half, I got a CDL.
Oh, jeez.
So she thinks that is the funniest thing she's ever heard.
Yeah, I'm there.
So I got my I started. I was actually a friend of mine in the organ studio at Kansas that interested me in the job because he showed me how flexible the job hours were. And as a grad student, that was really, really awesome. I needed a little extra income. He said that the training was fully paid, and it was. I got paid to get a Class B CDL, and I basically wrote my own hours. I was like, okay, I'm a grad student. I'm in class most of the morning. Can I work Wednesday afternoon and Saturday? And they're like, yeah, that's sure. We'll put you out. They had several open routes, and they're like, yeah, you just come in, fill it on this route, do an afternoon shift. I would do charters. I mean, I did charters for the KU basketball team. I did charters with the football team. Any conventions in town that they wanted to charter a bus, I would drive those.
Right.
It was a lot of fun. 4.5 years. And at one point or another, the KU organ studio had 5 organists were driving bus for the city of Lawrence.
That's crazy. Okay, what's the craziest bus story? Like, I mean, just crazy people, a crazy traffic incident. I mean, what's the story? There's got to be something.
Everything you can think of happened.
Everything?
Yes,
okay.
Pretty much everything. It was
we won't go there on this podcast.
I never had any of the really bad stuff, but I had a lot of my friends had a lot of really, really sketchy encounters, shall we say?
Is that for like the late night podcast? Is that what we're
probably.
talking about? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I've had a friend of mine, a passenger, actually the friend that interested me in the job. He had a passenger bring a live turtle onto his bus, and the turtle then went to the bathroom in the bus, so that was exciting.
But slowly.
Yeah. And it was not exciting for the driver.
Yeah, I'm sure not. Okay.
I blew a tire in the middle campus in the middle of rush hour. And when they blow, they sound like a bomb goes off.
Yeah.
Huge tire.
Full bus?
Yeah, full bus. Everybody had to get off. I couldn't move the bus. It was height of rush hour. I'm blocking a full lane of traffic in the middle of campus.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, I drove the football team. I had just a number of really sketchy.
That's crazy.
Really sketchy passengers. I found steak knives on the bus. I found used needles. The whole thing.
Oh, jeez. I can imagine. I mean, it's just one of those kind of jobs, right?
Right.
You're dealing with the whole public, which means it's everything. Right?
On the other hand, I met some of my best friends. A lot of the drivers I still keep in contact with. They're just the nicest people.
Yeah.
We were a contractor, actually. We worked the university and the city both had a contract with us. All we provided was the manpower.
Yeah.
Because the KU owned the vehicles and the city owned their vehicles, so we just provided the manpower. And a lot of the students were great. A lot of them, my favorite time of the year was like the beginning of the school year because we would get all these new freshmen that didn't know where anything was.
Right.
And they'd get on, they were so nervous, and I love being able to help them out.
Yep.
So yeah, it was kind of, a little bit of both, but overall just a really great job. I learned a lot.
You've done so. I mean, so like I want to like the one of the last questions is about hobbies and things. Things that you might want the church people to know about you. But we've covered pilot, we've covered bus, we've covered your family comes from a train world.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Is there anything else that you're gonna pull out of a hat for us?
Well, I mean, I'm an amateur photographer. I've enjoyed doing a lot of photography stuff, especially for the church. Been a great.
And thank you, just so they all hear you. Like a lot of the videos, not all of them necessarily, but a lot of them. Everything from the glider to he has this gimbal, like it's a harness, shoulder harness gimbal. You walk around, Steadicam, right? And you walk around with this thing. I mean, the amount of equipment you have. So thank you.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you. I mean, it's fun.
It's a great creative outlet for me.
Yeah.
And it's I love being able to do that for this church, because a lot of churches don't have access to that stuff.
Right.
And I feel like here I think we deserve a little bit more, than just filming something with a cell phone.
Yeah.
And I really have been grateful to Julie and to you guys for allowing me to kind of experiment in that way.
It's fun. We really appreciate it.
Oh,
so
yeah,
thank
for
you.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what we're doing unless there's anything else you want to share with the congregation, is there,
any more hobbies, Matt?
Any more, Matt? Come on, dude.
I don't think so. I just kind of do anything I'm interested in.
Yeah, it's you're certainly an inspiring creative person. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So we're closing all of these interviews with my favorite, which questionnaire, which came from the Inside of the Actors Studio with James Lipton, which was a acting interview. You know it well, and he then would close with this Bernard Pivot altered questionnaire. It's not exactly the same, but it's very close to it. And I'm doing the same thing. So the rule is I don't really get to ask you follow-up questions. It's just your answers are your answers.
Sure.
There is no right or wrong answer. First thing that comes to mind, and just because this is a church podcast does not mean you should alter your answer. And I say that more for the audience and congregation is that we're people. We live in the real world, and we don't need to necessarily sanitize about ourselves just to be real. So feel free to answer however you want.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? All right. What is your favorite word?
I think it's got to be Murgatroyd.
I said I wouldn't follow up.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite word?
Probably especially.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I think being around other creative people.
What turns you off creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Harsh criticism without, backing it up with facts or reasoning.
What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, I've got so many. Probably.
What sound or noise do you love?
I'm an experimental musician, so I don't know if I can answer that. I have an affinity towards all weird, especially weird sounds.
So maybe the answer is the same, but what sound or noise do you hate?
Anything that happens when I'm trying to sleep.
What profession other than the one that you currently have, or ones, would you like to attempt?
Definitely piloting.
What profession would you not like to do?
Anything with the medical field.
And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Probably just, hey.
Matt?
This was great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for your time.
This was a lot of fun. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out.